All right, so for today's episode, we are going to be doing trends for 2024. Last year, one of our most popular episodes was the episode with Taryn, Hillary, and Liz, where y'all talked about the 2023 trends. So we're going to do it again this year with 2024 trends. And we also have Will here. So we've got our entire product design team here all together. And y'all are like the experts in-house because you go on inspiration trips, you go to market, go to High Point, Round Top. Y'all are always kind of out there looking and then bringing sort of all the ideas together and kind of condensing that down into product. So I'm excited to kind of hear what you're seeing going on out in the design world. That wasn't a question,
Let's
but
do it.
All right, there you go.
We're excited to talk about it.
I was going to say we're excited to talk about it. Even when we were kind of researching for this, I think we've talked about this so much that we were like, wait, okay, like what has become second nature to us because we've been talking about it and seeing it so much that might not be for everyone else who's, in different industries. So.
Okay.
Well, and I think the general consensus is like things happen in fashion first and then they trickle down. Would y'all agree with that?
Definitely. It starts in the retail markets of fashion and beauty and even home appliances first, because once a customer sees a color trend, perhaps, or even a specific design, over and over and over again, typically after 2 or 3 years, they really start to envision that more in their lives. So it becomes easier to bring that into furniture and case goods and bedding and all kinds of things.
So it's almost like it's more, it's easier to like pick up a trend maybe with your clothes that's not as permanent. But then once you get comfortable with it, you might consider, a wall color, couch, or rug or something in a similar. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Especially like if you think about the financial aspect of it. It's a lot easier to buy a shirt and change out your colors by season than, let's say, your sofa or a huge media piece.
Right.
Just smart decisions.
Okay, well, to get us all kind of in the mood, I thought we could start with like a little in and out game where I'm going to just name something random. I have a totally random list of things. Just some stuff that seems like we've talked about in the more recent years of things that we're in. So I'm curious if they're still in, if they're always in, or if they're out. So I'm just going to name, and we're going to
We're going to group call out or like individually answer.
Everybody just shout out what they think.
No right, wrong.
Hillary wants to go first.
I'm competitive. I've got to know like all the rules.
I don't think there are
Beige
rules.
is out. I'm in first.
Well,
It is out. I already came to this knowing what I wanted to say, and it is out.
Okay, wait. Can you explain? Beige as a neutral is out, or just all beige?
I think that spaces that have completely tonal linens that we think of, I hate to say this, but when you think of RH in like the early 2000s where the room was one single color and there really was no personality, and they've definitely developed that over the years. But I think that people felt really safe with that and they had really bought into it, but then COVID happened and spaces that people hadn't really given much thought to really needed personality for them to live in them long term, because you were seeing this very plain, very beige box and it had no personality. It had no you in it. Sorry.
So it's not. So it's not using beige as a neutral in a room where there is also other color. Like maybe you've got a beige sofa, but you've got color elsewhere. It's just like the all beige look, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
The very monochromatic look.
Yes. I felt like beige was happening a lot as the neutral option versus gray, like a warmer. I'm thinking like a warmer neutral. What do you, is that?
No, that's fair. We obviously attend a lot of forecast and color forecast, and one of them was already talking about how the resurgence of the actual color beige. And again, I think it's like you were saying, it's that where we had gray has gone out. So now we're back to a warmer hues. And so yes, I hear what you're saying. And I think having a linen sofa in a beautiful decorated room, we're saying is like totally still happening. But like there's pillows and drapes with color. Your furniture might be colored itself, like a coffee table in a bright lacquered green next to, like there's it's just that monochromatic spaces.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sorry. Glad I wanted to make sure I understood what it was. Okay. So in and out, rattan.
And
Okay.
And we
Yeah.
just did.
We still love it. Yeah.
Still very, very hot.
Good
Our
point.
team was at Atlanta Market yesterday, and rattan was still, and it's showing all the stuff for next spring, and everything was still in fall, and it was all still rattan.
Like spring 2025 or spring 2024. We're spring 25.
25.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we're almost in spring 24. I mean, that's, yeah. Okay. Brass.
It's fading. It's definitely, it's had its decade-long lifespan, but I think that with consumers overusing it poorly, it has definitely waned in the consumer market. I think that accessories and things that are in quote-unquote fast design, I think that we will see those start to fade out and more silver and nickel tones. I think that we really started looking at developing outside of brass and gold tones.
And perfect brass, we should say. Because I think unlacquered brass still has that quality of very traditional.
Patina.
Yeah.
Timeless. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're seeing that brass is slowly starting to become like, now everyone has it, so what's the next? And so we're seeing those silver tones come back in, nice nickels, and some of those never left, but they've always kind of been in the back, but stainless steel and things like that. So
I love a nickel because I think it's warmer than chrome.
correct.
Definitely.
Which I think is kind of a nice.
It leans to that classic traditional, and I want to say kitchens automatically come to mind because you have that beautiful white kitchen with the nickel accents everywhere, and it's such a timeless look, and it's almost leaning into nostalgia for me personally. I think that it definitely will probably take the place of a lot of influences that brass has.
Yeah. It's the silver option for the brass lover.
Correct.
Okay.
That's a great way
Cool.
to put it.
Navy.
I don't love navy.
I like that. You're going to be our contrarian, Will.
I'm so sorry. I love black. But if you're gonna go dark, you need to pick black
Okay.
Interesting
or
take.
polar opposite. Because I love blue and white, but it's not really navy. It's kind of an indigo. I think that we can't really mix anything with navy. Like, what do you mix with navy?
Oh my gosh. I think navy never goes out. I think it's so nautical and staged in that whole, and I don't think it's necessarily for every space. Like I do, kind of like you were saying, like it doesn't work with certain hues because it's intensity, but I still feel like it will always be there.
Would you not mix it with lighter blues, light blue and navy together?
I don't think
She's
I
looking
would.
at Will.
I'm so...
You're allowed your opinion.
Yeah, I like it. This is good.
No, I hate to be contrary, but I just...
He
If
doesn't.
we're going to go dark, I don't. If we're going to go dark, it needs to be like black and white or...
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Did not expect that. Hillary, what do you think?
I'm a little Team Taryn on this one. Sorry, Will.
Well, as you wear a navy blouse.
Well, see, it kind of
black.
leans black.
See, exactly. That's my point. It's like, what color is it really?
I like to
is
be
it a blue or
ambiguous,
is it
so-
black?
Or was it black? You watched it too much. I have a few of those things.
I just think it's classic and timeless. But I could also see, I do agree with the whole blue and white is often more indigo than navy. So I see Will's points, but
right.
sorry.
It's fine. Everyone
Well, this
has-
is illustrating an important point to our listeners, which is that for some people, even if it was a trend and it's out,
Yeah.
it can always
quote,
work
unquote.
in the right context.
Oh, yeah.
totally.
You know?
Yeah, when we say this in and out, we're just giving our opinions of what we've been seeing people also saying, and our own opinions. So.
Yeah. Okay, what about oak?
Because that's a hard one too. Because you're not.
It's all about the tone.
I was gonna
Because
say
it's material and finish.
because
Like
the material also has been like it's such a good wood to construct with that like
It's tight grain. It's
Okay.
good for architectural elements, cabinetry, flooring, furniture. But I really think that it's all about the stain. Because if it's too red, then it's going to look dated.
and if it's yellow or that honey you all you can think of is 80s. So
Yes.
I do think the tone of the stain like he's saying it really that's what goes in and out
And we spend a lot of time on that. Like really the science of what stains work best with the species of wood. For product designers, I mean, we
Totally.
really think about what the piece is going to look like in reality versus just the rendering, because the stain makes the difference.
Like it takes to certain wood species in different ways?
Oh, definitely.
Oh.
it's the way the grain opens and such as well will change it.
Huh. I didn't know that.
But I think we've all talked about, especially on the podcast in general, how browns are in, brown furniture is in. And that continues to be true. And I think that's why we've seen this light oak, the past few years. And I don't necessarily think it's out. I think it's just we've seen it now, right? So like we're starting that whole, again, we're waiting on it. But if you're at a beautiful beach house, like it's gonna feel more fitting still.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the regional part of I feel like somewhat.
Okay, this is not this is off topic, but do you feel like oak and mahogany can go together in the same room?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
I
could.
guess.
Yes,
Okay.
it is definitely how it's done, right? Because like you could have beautiful white oak floors and a beautiful chestnut or walnut table. Like it's just making sure that the level of woods.
But when you say mahogany, do you mean like the red mahogany?
No,
Because-
I don't know what I just mean like a dark, a classic wood
Well,
tone.
for us,
Yeah.
it's all about
Well,
like,
it's very
walnut or
specific.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Mahogany, I guess, would go like.
It does
I
go
guess
more
I'm thinking
red.
just like a classic wood antique.
yes, it most definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of designers that mix and match, and they're mixing those earth tones together of the light and the dark. And I think that many designers have capitalized on that look of creating such beautiful natural environments just out of wood, and it being all different tones.
Okay. Whitewashed.
I lean out on this one.
I think out too.
I agree on the whole. It also probably has a regional aspect to it of like it is more coastal, light, airy, or light and livable. But yeah, more of the brown tones are coming back in, especially obviously what you see on antiques. So I would say it's out.
I was gonna say more of like plastery finishes, gesso,
Like a chalky.
yeah,
matte white.
I guess I was more talking on wood.
yeah. On wood specifically,
Yeah.
I'm with Hillary. We have not seen a lot of whitewashes right now. That is not. We're seeing the light oak for that lighter visual, or rattan for that lighter piece. That's giving off that kind of natural tones, but like lighter.
I think in
Don't you
place
think?
of the whitewash, it's more painted finishes actually, and we just haven't really gotten to that light level yet, or I don't know the terminology.
Like,
think
like
we're
an actual color.
I think we've been going to different materials more so than I think we've just probably, we've done a lot more veneering and burl wood's been more popular. It seems, again, these are that still in the lighter family of furniture, but yeah, not.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've also been doing more and also seeing like colored stains where the wood grain comes through. So,
Or ceruse.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Cerusing is probably more popular than
I
whitewashing.
had that one on my list. Okay, so that would be in. Would you say-
definitely.
Okay.
I think it's such done the right way and not too grayed out and still lending to the natural elements of the wood. It's just a natural, beautiful color.
And it's a traditional way of, like, technique. So,
All right. What about wallpaper?
In
And
just not everywhere. Accent walls, I think, are so overdone, and you see them in like almost every hotel that you go to, and it's just like great. Like
You mean like you want all 4 walls or
Yes.
nothing?
all
Accent
4
walls are out.
walls, maybe even the ceiling. I still think that that's an interesting element, but just doing one accent wall just seems like, I hate to say this, but like going to the dentist, it's like, there it is.
I
It's
was
like,
gonna say it feels very.
In your
it's
dentist
that-
waiting room.
It's that staged photo shoot
too
feeling.
staged,
Like
exactly.
it feels like, oh, you're doing everything. Like, don't look at any other wall. Which your room isn't that way.
but it's
Yeah.
lending that whole look of being staged it's going back to people don't want to live like that anymore. They want something to be personal to them and not something they've seen out of a magazine explicitly.
Or in their waiting room.
Yeah.
Yes.
at a dentist.
I did
That's always what I want my living room to feel like. Waiting room
a
vibes.
dental waiting room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Maybe next year
I
it'll
just
be in.
love. Yeah. My
Anxiety.
No, I love my dentist.
dentist room vibes. Yes.
Okay, what about white walls?
Yes, but not plain white walls. I think
Okay, what does that mean?
molding. You have to have molding. Living in a white cube sounds like hell. I'm sorry. I know that modernism is and has always been a major design element, but minimalism to me is really it's out. It's out.
Okay,
Okay.
agreed. Hillary,
Oh no, I'm always going to be right in the middle, I guess. I think white walls still offer like the perfect canvas to create all those other different aspects. So
But
it's
no crown molding, nothing.
no. Well, she didn't say white
I
without
just said white
crown
walls.
molding.
Your interpretations.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think
I
there's
guess
like
I immediately go to a box.
no. So I still think they're timeless.
Yeah.
and classic in a way. But
Well,
I mean, I give you a
definitely agree with
perspective.
that. I agree. I think that
Yeah.
it's timeless, but too minimal is drab.
Well, this goes back to the original of like beige. I would rather see you have your walls white than like the builder grade beige that we all
Oh, yes.
remember.
Or that
like,
brown
or
from
apartment,
2009.
Yeah, the apartment brown. That one
It's
to
not
me is
beige.
like
Wait, like chocolate brown?
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
no.
I kind of like chocolate
No.
brown.
Not chocolate.
Like chocolate lacquers then. But just like that washed out sandy brown color
Yeah,
that
yeah,
every
yeah.
house
Yes.
is painted.
Yeah.
That
Even
color.
my own childhood home in
Yeah.
sunrooms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like everyone, that was what you did. So I do agree. I think it's in to still just like, if you don't know what you're doing yet, blank canvas is better than the beige canvas.
And
Yeah.
no accent walls in color either.
Okay. All right. All right. You don't have to argue with me. It feels like you just couldn't commit. So you just were
Exactly.
like,
You painted one wall.
Yeah.
Just like my dentist. Yes.
okay, what about florals?
For spring?
But do you decorate your house for
Groundbreaking.
a season?
No. I actually have a Robert Kime floral on my sofa. They're the decorative pillows. Year round, pink, beautiful. I love it. It matches my Christmas tree. Those are pink ornaments. I think it's just happy.
Florals, I agree. Florals are never out. I think it's a matter of the patterns of florals go in and out. I do think florals are all, it's nature, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like
They
nature's
rebloom.
always, yeah.
They bloom every season or change.
Chinoiserie.
And
It's so in. What was that?
well, I guess I commit with the in with like
Oh,
it's classic,
no.
so it's
I think that we saw several pieces at market yesterday, and it's done the traditional way, and not the Americanized what many consumers envision as chinoiserie, but the real traditional pieces and the technique and the pattern that goes into those pieces makes it that much more special and more handcrafted. And I think that a lot of people that we've seen really value that. Even if it is mass produced, having that layer of patina and a little bit of hand touched notion that someone put the time into making it really lends itself to a greater value.
Okay. Like that. Black doors and trim work.
No trim. Absolutely not. I hate contrasted trim. I just can't do it. I can't.
Ooh.
I like a room to be enveloped in one color, or it has to have wallpaper, and there's no in between.
So
I will do a colored door. I love a lacquered black door.
So no like color on the wall with a white trim?
You could do that.
Okay.
That could be fine. I could handle that. I guess it's when the trim work is so contrasted to the walls. It just seems like it has to be done really well, and I feel like many designers miss the mark.
It is jarring.
Yes, exactly.
Your eye will follow the black.
When you
because
walk
it's
into a
against
space, you don't want to be a jar.
Yeah. I mean, I think like why are you trying to draw attention to like that closet door?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Or
if it's a
leaving.
beautiful set of French doors or something, then maybe that's different. But like just broadly painting all of your doors, black. It's like, well,
Or
some of those is
brown.
like your laundry room. Like what are we doing
Rooms you
here?
don't want to go into.
Well, yeah, because if you paint the trim, like you do need to do we've talked about that. Like the doors and the trim have to be that color. You can't leave the door
White.
white.
Right.
So then you are, again, making your eye naturally go to that big black spot.
Right.
So I think you have to add more in the space almost to make it, your eye move around the space, for sure.
Well, the black doors and trim thing, I feel like is all over Atlanta. And
Well,
in terms
no,
of exteriors,
it goes into
I was going to say in exteriors, it's just so harsh. It's so harsh.
yeah.
and they're not painting the houses the right white.
Oh, it's like
they'll-
it's primer
those
white.
Blue.
Yeah.
There's this a
Undertones.
beautiful, beautiful house in Midtown. These people spent a fortune on it. It's a beautiful house. But in the daylight, like in a very sunny day, the house is almost tinted blue because it's such an icy white.
Yeah.
It looks so odd against such a green, lush, beautiful.
Bucolic, natural setting.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So that's why that black and white is such a winter compared to nature.
Yeah.
That it's just your eye can't help it.
You're right. In Atlanta, especially where it's like so lush, it's like
Yeah. And I
the
could
renovation special. It's like
It is.
black windows, the black door, the white house, probably the black roof.
So if we're talking specifically that, it is out. It is not. Do not do that to your home. Like, don't do it.
I mean, I think all three of us agree. White houses are beautiful, but classic.
Definitely talk to somebody at your paint store about a good outdoor white. Like, ask friends, ask neighbors of whites you like.
please go creamy.
Do a little work.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
nothing is that sterile in nature. So,
No.
It almost needs to look like a little polleny.
Especially here.
that was a southern way of putting it. Yeah. Does it look like it's dusted with yellow in spring?
Just a little bit.
I love that. I've never heard anyone say
Not
that.
caked,
But
not caked in
No,
pollen,
no,
which
just
we
like,
also know.
Like a little. The first few
aged.
days of spring, it's just.
It's when all of a sudden you feel it in your nose, like that's that level of pollen.
Do I have a cold or is it allergy seasons? There's there's a few
That's
weeks where
the
you're
color
like,
your
I'm not
house
sure.
should be.
White with the dusting of pollen. Okay. Wait, we were doing marble.
Oh, Will's gonna talk
I know, I'm
first.
back at it. Sorry. I love a black and white marble checked entry foyer.
Okay.
I do not love statement marble furniture. I think that it's so overdone. You have these
Statement marble furniture. Like, expand on that. What does that mean?
curvy, modern pieces that are just like not really thought out. It's just a piece of marble that they've cut into a shape, slapped probably 3 balls on the bottom of it and stick it somewhere, and it's like, where did you come up with that? Like,
But it is kind of beautifying the material. Like, they
I
didn't have to do
know,
very
but-
much because it's such a beautiful material with all its veining and character.
well,
So,
I'm not
like-
saying that marble furniture can't be beautiful. I think that thought out pieces that have been designed and not just cut into some curvy oblong shape, that it doesn't matter how beautiful the marble is. It's just another modern piece of furniture that we're selling to the masses.
I'm loving
We're
this
gonna have to
because
cut that.
I haven't asked Will his opinion on marble, so like I'm learning a lot. We've talked about it from a department about just color, like the tones in it, because you don't want, if you're doing something that has like a pinky kind of vein in it, you have to be careful about what metal you're putting with it and or what wood. So we've talked about that, but I think marble in general, I'm still like it is still in.
Well, in kitchen design, it seems like people are using more dramatic marbles and more colored marbles. So I guess it wouldn't be surprising if that started to become more.
I mean, I
common
don't think we should go back to green marble countertops.
No,
No.
not like the Home Alone house.
No.
So I think I just saw a designer do one in a kitchen. and
Oh,
it was,
we
like,
did.
all green.
It was horrifying. I never want to see my childhood kitchen ever reincarnated.
It has very like office vibes to me. Don't you think of like a
Dentist
lawyer's
office?
office? I was thinking more like your lawyer. I don't know, like masculine.
Yeah. I'm with you on the whole masculine, like, office.
It's very
Well,
masculine.
it's
80s
old banks
mahogany.
and from
Yeah,
the
like a
90s
bank,
and like
Ooh, bank.
big booming business. Let's put colored marble everywhere. And it's,
Ooh, and the little bank mirrors, they're green
Yes.
and brass. That's totally what it is. But, and I think from a countertop perspective, I think people learned about quartzite and quartz and how they were they functioned a lot better than marble in the sense of how much they absorb. And so I do think in kitchen spaces, people were going more practical just because they knew how they lived. And so I think it's probably less prevalent in kitchens at the moment, but I think it's more out of functionality, not because of how beautiful white marble is.
Yeah. Okay, what about industrial?
out.
I would agree. I would say out.
Yeah.
I was just
thought
trying to
Hillary
think of,
would say
like,
out. I was confirming my
The
answer.
sense of the word, like industrial. I don't know. It's such a broad.
Yeah, true. That's
Topic.
vague. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of it.
I think heavy metal, like with rivets, just
Gritty.
yeah. I feel like we did it, and
It's
Yeah.
been done.
I think we're in a lighter phase. We all just want light,
We want
Happier,
soft.
happier, warm spaces, inviting spaces that people want to. I think we realized some of that industrial felt cold, and felt like
Industrial.
that. Yeah, and felt industrial. That's a great word for it.
Slave it in a warehouse.
Wow. So go on. Yeah.
Okay, I only have 2 more, and then we'll just chit chat.
Sure.
Scallops.
Ooh. I still think they're pretty prevalent right now.
I think 2024 they will. Yes, I think they are in. I think they become a little softer.
More like a wave.
Oh yes, a
Love to say a wave.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's just a nice softer way because I think a scallop's very specific. So if you love a scallop, you get to love a scallop this year, but you will see them softening, I believe.
Well, it is interesting you say that because we just launched those scallop towels, and it's not a half circle; it's a wave. Yeah.
Our towels are a wave for sure. Now our bedding that we have and we've had is definitely, I'd say more
scallop.
Like a traditional scallop. Yeah. Yeah. All right, pleated shades.
Oh, I love those.
And
I will.
And
Yeah.
yeah, shades are very fun. I think there's been some writing on different shades. I think, but shades are still a place to add more character, and I don't think
Color. It's a color vehicle, I think, that our
or pattern,
customer
shape.
loves to use because it's something that you're not having to financially dig a hole into. It's something that is easy and even potentially disposable.
And it goes back to that maximalist that is, how people are feeling right now. More joy, and like it's another place to have fun that like you never thought could be a fun place. You're like, oh, it's the lamp that's fun, but you're like, no, the lamp most of the time has a shade, and then you're like, oh, another place for pattern and fun.
Okay, well, I feel like y'all all alluded to this in our answers. So that was the end of my in and out game. Let's talk about color in general, because it seems like that is always kind of the number one thing in terms of trend. It's like it kind of starts with the color, and I feel like y'all were all kind of talking around the same thing, which is like color is in, and having colorful spaces in general, and not the white box, the beige box, all that. So tell us about like what's happening in color. What are the colors that are kind of picking up more steam out there in the marketplace?
You ready?
Oh, I guess so.
Is
it me again?
It doesn't have to be.
I guess since I'm in the middle.
We've been joking and talking a lot about because again, we follow a lot of color forecasting and such. So I'm sure everybody has seen Pantone that they released their peach. Their peach. Will, how do you feel about it? In case you didn't hear him just vomit. Peach fuzz
Doesn't look good on anyone.
Oh my goodness, that's not totally true. But we're also not we're talking about home here, and it does give the warm hue that pink has. That we've talked about pink rooms and being so inviting and warm and welcoming, and so peach still gives that. And so I do think there's a funness to it, and so of course we're kind of like, okay, peach, let's see what happens. And another
swath your house like the 1985 Mother of the Bride dress.
Well, I do want to backtrack. So we had heard a while back in forecasting that mid-tone pastels. And so we've been talking about that internally a lot because, it's not the softest colors that are really, it's that kind of that more intensity, which goes back to like a little more joy and a little louder, but not screaming per se. So these mid-tones they're packing a punch a little bit more.
They're new.
Explain
After looking at several reports and really delving into, I think it was an AD talk, pastels have been with us forever. I mean, they just evolve and they change tones from color to color. And I think that when we say pastel, we think 1980, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the shades that we saw in the 1980s. There are more relevant colors, so there'll be softer greens and blues and yellows, but not necessarily the shades that we envisioned and know from our past.
And they're not necessarily the earth tones either. They're coming out a little bit cleaner in general. Would you guys agree or disagree?
No, I would agree.
I think it's because, again, we just did this earthy. And not that has totally left. We're just telling you what they're saying. And so we're kind of looking at these kind of cleaner, again, just happy colors. Candy. Oh, I feel like someone described it as like almost candy colored, like as a way of like thinking about it, like a candy store in the sense
that
of
fun, joyful, like explosion of soft colors that we're nostalgic about.
Yeah.
But they're also predicting the celestial yellow. Which we've all seen already.
Describe celestial yellow.
Did everyone see Apple just put out a phone last year that was that kind of
muted yellow.
You're talking about your phone?
Not mustard.
Yes, it is my
Her phone, my sweatshirt.
Yes.
So like, okay, is it more yellow green? Is it more of a yellow with green tones? Is it more of a yellow with like orangey tones?
I think a more yellow orangey tone, I think.
Yes, I feel like the orangey, because again, I think gold is so traditional, right? It's just in general, gold is traditional, and so that's definitely got that warmer, deeper, almost orange most of the time, and so I think that will continue, and so it's almost like the yellow in general will still stay. There's still goldenrods. I'm sure everyone has seen it. Still very prevalent, and kind of staying in that warmer
But it's a softer yellow. It's
definitely
not bold.
Like softer than goldenrod, but
Definitely.
okay.
Yes, definitely softer. Like we are definitely seeing the yellow getting softer and softer.
But it's I'm sorry.
No, if I Google celestial yellow, is there like a color that will come up?
Yes, actually, Coloro has published, I think, 5 colors, and one of them is celestial yellow. And it's also going to bring up a multitude of products. So from, like we discussed earlier, fashion, beauty, across the markets. It's also more prevalent in the wintertime because it's not really a pretty summer yellow.
Okay.
It's what you think of in the winter. It's that warm, nice yellow that
You want to come out? You know?
more Christmassy, I guess.
You wish it was out
Because
in
it's
nature.
so cold and snowy right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, like, is that happening in fabrics? Is it happening in rugs? Is there like a sequence where you see the colors, like they start in XYZ category and then it trickles down into something else? Or is it just kind of like across the board?
I think it goes back to the way our consumer shops. So it's going to be in small items, takeaway items that they aren't spending a lot of money on. And if the trend picks up, then we would definitely see it more in larger, big ticket items like rugs and upholstery items, which you don't typically swap out year to year.
And we continue to make sure we have something to speak to that. You know, the fabric's multicolor, but having that color in there to kind of lean back. But of course, we're trying to make sure, you know, we're on top of it, but also a big offering. So, and of course, these colors are just what we've been looking up anyway. So it's not necessarily for us or whatever. But red, candy red. I was gonna say cherry, like a
Cherry lacquer.
Okay, that's what.
Red.
Yes, that's what they called it. Coloro.
Yes.
So, cherry lacquer was one, which is obviously exactly what you're picturing in your head, and it is bright and vibrant, and it just goes back to that whole like. That's really packing a punch. We don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. What other ones were there that we were? Brown, obviously, that deep brown.
Like a chocolate brown?
Chocolate brown is definitely...
One of my favorite designers, David Hicks, described it as Coca-Cola brown. And
I like that.
very famously said that he invented that whole look of lacquering an entire room, Coca-Cola brown.
Yeah, what was the blue? It was
It's
Analog blue?
analog blue. So that is
Analog blue,
touching
what's
on
that?
nostalgia. So when you think of that blue, I hate to say it, but like Tiffany's is very reminiscent because it's so nostalgic. It's a name that you've known forever. It's something that takes you back to a better time. I mean, the climate that we're in, and you know, it just makes you feel happy.
So, because I would say Tiffany blue has a lot of green in it. It's almost like on a teal spectrum.
I definitely would say it's probably
It's almost like mint with more blue.
yes.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
mint was last year's or in the last few years, mint has been hot, and so it's almost like mint took a turn to blue. But it goes back to that whole, it's a mid-tone. It's a pastel, but it's a mid-tone pastel. It's
Right.
not the lightest.
Like it's yeah. Okay.
And then there was another dark color, like a midnight color, like a deep,
Oh,
dark purple
it's-
Navy?
blue.
Never.
Not navy for Will.
It's I can't remember.
Midnight blues. It's celestial blue. I don't know.
It's like a futurist purple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best
Something
way to
like
put
that.
it. Yeah.
It's a futurist purple. So when you think of it, it's digital. It's not the digital lavender that we saw last year in 2023, but like a dark.
Okay. What are these? Digital purple. I don't know what that means. Like, it seems like people are just who is taking just like a modern word and like adding it to a color.
Well, it's because
and then that's a color we're all supposed
these
to know.
colors aren't natural.
Okay.
They're not colors that you just see every day. These are
Okay. Okay. Well,
Technology.
computer generated
for-
colors.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, and a lot of these, companies that do these forecasting are really looking at overall themes and trying to pick. And so again,
Like
it's
macro.
talking. So again, they're like AI, and what does and if you could give AI a color, what does that look like? Like they're even thinking at it from that level.
Ethereal, beyond what we're
Yes.
thinking
Cross
about.
markets.
And across markets, where we're coming from a home point of view. So our
Right.
point of view is, again, we're not looking at this and being like, that is our color.
Everything
Like,
needs
yes.
to be digital purple.
Yeah. But instead, it's like, okay, taking their point of view and kind of digesting it and thinking about how, that really does affect us, how the environment's affecting us, how the world and the news and how is that feeling, and how do we want our home to feel, and going back to what makes us feel safe at home, because your home is your haven and your safe place, and what feelings do you want when you're there, and what color does to each of us and how we feel. And I mean, looking across this table, we all four have different colors that our
Right.
homes are, because that's what gives us joy and brings joy. So
Okay.
but even all, as everyone knows too, and everyone can look that up, is each company puts out, or every paint company puts out their color of the year. And a whole bunch of those were blues.
Yep.
Mostly there was a
Blue's
cream.
tried and true, though.
I feel like I need a chart of the last 10 years and then all of the different people that put out a color, and just see like
Which one's actually
what
each
they
year.
are. You know what I mean?
Grays, blues, whites. It's
Greens. It's stuck in the true, and that,
but they're natural tones.
that's what we're
Unlike-
going back to. The true natural tones are what continue to, because nature is all around us, and it.
We feel most comfortable in that. We don't want to paint our walls digital purple.
But, yeah.
Okay.
But you might buy a phone in it, so
Yeah.
it's looking at,
But again, that's just something that you can throw away later on. You don't have to stick with
or
that
you're
forever.
replacing.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not throwing your
Upgrading.
house away.
Okay. Any unusual color combinations, like colors you're seeing together and not just on their own?
Blue, pink, and green, especially in ditzy patterns that we've seen abroad in the UK. And I mean in more of a geometric pattern. So you'll have a pink diamond with a lattice work of green, and then an accent of blue surrounding that. I've seen several from a couple of different companies, but I never imagined those three colors ever going together. But it seems to work, and
Okay.
And I think that subtle yellow, I do think has it's coming out more in fabrics we've seen recently. And I think that peach will as well be, again, part of that combo. But I don't know if it's pairing with anything at this moment. That's kind of like a crazy cool pairing. I like how we're looking at each other like,
nope,
do we
do
have
we?
anything?
we're stuck on brown furniture.
Well, it was, I remember at the Flower Magazine show house, this was like fall of 22, so that's a while now, but there was all this mauve, and it was like tons of mauve, and even like some like olive greens and stuff, and it was like,
yes.
every room in the house is a different designer, but like so many designers I felt like used that same kind of.
But I think that goes back to the earth tones thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you just named two very earthy colors.
Yeah.
Like you could say pink and green, and everybody's going to have in their head probably not mauve and olive,
Right.
So like you've picked a tone of it. So it'll be interesting to see, again, does everything become this mid-tone pastel of that, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had any. I think with brown coming back and really like chocolate becoming more popular again, because we went gray and grays for so long, it'll be interesting to see how much and where brown translates with other colors, I think.
And kind of back to that, us talking about colors, I think it'll also be interesting to see how red is used, because I don't know.
That's one of the colors for 2025, I believe, that we looked at is neon flare, which is very, very bright and
Like a red?
It's very bright red. It's a color that is neon.
You would say it would lean orange if you're talking about a red that leans orange. That's
It's not a color that we would see on case goods or upholstery, but more of an accessories platform.
trim in that color, you know, something to really make it sing.
But also not a very calming. I don't know.
No.
It's more of a startling color for me. So it's like,
definitely that was the whole
yeah.
movement of
Report
that.
about
It's being more environmentally conscious, and it's a neon morning, so to speak, of being more conscientious as a consumer.
I know. We're taking you deep into
I know. I like
Sorry.
It's almost like pushing
I'm definitely not a deep person.
pushing the consumer to be on edge and like face like you know
The alarms
the
are
uncomfortableness
ringing.
of what's coming.
Can a normal person like subscribe to these color forecasts if they wanted to? You
Yes.
have to have some secret badge.
No, they do have
you
subscriptions.
Put your email
but
in and they send you a link and you can watch for 45 minutes. Very, very educated professionals.
Can y'all send us a list of places people could, because I would love to put that in the show notes.
I mean, for
Yeah.
me personally,
Yeah.
I never thought I would be interested, but this past conversation really, it taught me a lot. I mean, with my being an interior designer and a product designer, I think that it was really knowledgeable.
Well, just the way people, again, it goes back to like the depths of like how we're living as humans too, and like what's important to
They
us.
delve
and-
into it.
Yeah. Like even Hillary reminded me of this like article we read about like neurodiverse homes, again, speaking to every sense. You can speak to it, Hillary.
Well, I was
I
just
won't,
saying, and having the consciousness to design for every sense, not just your eyes, like not just to make the room beautiful, but like how does it smell? Does, you know, when you walk into this room, it
Can
smells.
you taste it?
I
knows?
in the kitchen sometimes if you're cooking.
Scratch and sniff wallpaper, you know, just
Oh
like,
my gosh.
you know, how to
Like
make
Willy
all the
Wonka.
senses, like
Yeah.
have the room evoke something, you know, textures and how it feels. And I don't know, it was very interesting. I always like the emotional aspect of like why colors are trending or why people think that they're going to be popular, because it's like it does make you sit and think like, wow, I did feel uncomfortable this year, or like I'm not happy or I am happy, or how colors can evoke that from you.
Going back to nature, all the greens that we're seeing,
Yeah.
it's
It's like
all studied.
we're all like, oh, we're too digital. We need to like get back to nature.
revert,
Take a walk.
revert.
Yeah.
1,000%. 1,000. Yeah. We're like, how can we get nature in? That's why, again, I don't think florals will go out. I think people are like, how can I continue to feel that in home too?
While still scrolling on TikTok.
Well, I mean, you can do that outside at your garden party.
You just gotta have a good Wi-Fi signal. That's it.
Okay, what about materials? Unless there's anything else you want to say about color.
No, I think
We've
materials is good.
covered
it.
Yeah.
Materials, colored cements was one of the things we saw kind of adding another place again to adding color.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of application are we talking about? Like, is that
Tile.
I was
So
saying
tile,
originally
okay.
tile, but a lot of like kitchen vessels or sinks, vessel sinks, they're just mounted on the wall.
Okay.
Colored concrete.
That's cool. All right.
Small accessories that you can just pick up and take with you
Okay.
while out shopping.
But you could potentially do, again, floors, walls, wherever you would do that. I mean, because concrete countertops even, you know, was a thing, could
Yeah.
be a thing. Glass, just the application of colored glass. And we've seen lots of colored glass.
I've seen a lot of really special glass. So like that hand blown element that's inlaid into furniture, in decorative
Lighting.
accessories, lighting. Yesterday at the market again, we saw these beautiful glass shards that have been hand blown and applied, colored shards applied to a chandelier. It's really taking it above and beyond rather than just the cut glass that we're familiar with.
And natural materials continue to just, you know, wicker. Again, we all remember wicker and painted wicker. And I do think like, it seems to be back on the, like, it's everywhere again.
Well, we
And,
saw a lot of natural wicker yesterday. That
yeah,
was
a lot of natural wicker.
very nostalgic.
Colored terracotta as well. Like burnt bamboo, just an application of taking bamboo and giving it that kind of darker tortoisey look. Lots of that, and that's very
I've never heard
traditional.
it called burn. Is
Well,
that
isn't that the application of how
That
it's
is
actually
actually-
made? It's
yeah.
not actually tortoise, but it's burned.
interesting?
yes.
I did not know
I
that.
did not know that either.
That's really cool. It's baked. Is that what you just said?
I think they
It's
apply
burned.
heat to
it's
it.
literally burned, and that gives it that black. That then goes back to that golden color because you know the color of bamboo in nature,
Right.
and so
And
it's
you've
just
seen like tortoise bamboo as a
Antiques.
I just didn't know that's how that was created. I don't know what I thought it was, but
Taryn did a study of it.
very cool.
yes. So that, of course, great veneers, like different wood veneers, wood species that have lots of fun grain, and you're like, what is that going on? And so
Definitely applied in like geometric patterns and really playing with the pieces to create a facade that is unique.
Kind of on the same vein as materials, but obviously trims, tassels, like the decorative element to add to any upholstery is still very much.
it's really that bespoken, special upholstery
Correct.
that continues to be right. Like, what is that special double welt trim with the, I was gonna say anything to make it
tape.
your own, and making it really special upholstery. I think if we had anything else.
Any like technology or things that are
So Hillary showed us yesterday these advanced draperies that
what does that mean?
potentially fight off, was it UV?
It was UV, but there's even like, and I think Ballard is going to have some of the mosquito repellent draperies for outdoor, or I guess porches could also use them.
Interesting. So it's an actual drapery panel that repels mosquitoes.
There's technology in it that repels, but yes.
Formulas are integrated into the threads and they literally repel insects.
There's a lot about discrete technology too, with like making your home more integrated, so like you don't see the technology, whereas that
Going as far as like light switches and things like that, that's completely hidden from sight. And we've seen that in TVs turning into artwork on the walls. People trying to make that transition from being totally attached to software to having at least a semblance of breaking away from that.
What else do we have for technology?
And I had here metals, but we kind of talked about it already. Silvers, nickel.
Oh, and then like from a technology point of even just manufacturing, a lot of upcycling and just eco-friendly materials out there, and those continue to get become more popular. We talked about vegan leathers and the mushroom,
mushroom leathers,
mushroom
or
leathers,
faux leather made from mushrooms.
Yeah, so there's some
Very
cool
interesting.
things they're doing out there, again, just from an environmental standpoint too, of not wasting and
To
upcycling.
reduce our carbon footprint.
Oh yeah, and we even have a rug made out of jeans, like denim. So there's also like taking other markets' disposable goods and how can we upcycle it to put in other markets' materials. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so maybe not like specifically technology, but also kind of
that's
I mean, it is.
forward thinking on.
It's advancing our way of life
Right.
via consumer goods that
and coming up with new ways of making things from I think that's technology. It counts.
it's cutting down on the fast fashion, fast
furniture
movement.
Okay, what about patterns? We talked a little bit about florals. Those aren't going away anytime soon.
Geometrics are still strong. I think even Will mentioned the checkered marble floors being still of very much a vogue. The check is it's still the very classic motifs, again, from historic motifs. Like a Greek key is still very strong.
That Italian red and white stripe is alive and well. We're seeing fabric houses all over Europe using it in a multitude of different colorways.
Like a canopy stripe?
Yes.
Okay.
Think of that beautiful tinted Italian villa.
Mm-hmm.
It's red and white, and it's just beautiful and very, very classic.
And I think the interesting, again, with geometrics being in is the overall, instead of like a perfect chintz, if you think about like, they are making geometric patterns with the florals too. Like you've seen a lot of these fabrics that like have a shape within a shape.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there's a trellis cut within these like floral designs and you can see it. I
Okay.
guess so you're getting
we saw that
geometrics and florals at the same time.
Last year, done in like super primary colors. At Jerry Pear, I can't remember who it was, but we were really enthralled. Like our eyes were on that presenter. It was just so interesting because it was cool to see the geometric
was
with the
Schumacher.
organic.
Yeah.
Schumacher had a whole bunch, I think. Anyway, but but you've seen it in wallpaper too, so it continues to be.
It seems like there, for a while, was a lot of like hand painted looking fabrics, both, you know, whether that was like, I guess block print isn't it's kind of hand painted, but like, and then sort of watercolor sort of effects. Is there still that out there? Is it more like, you know, kind of?
I think it's the more geometric, and maybe that's because even like
You
furniture.
love gingham.
Always love a gingham. We've talked about that.
It's out, by the way.
Some have said that. I'm a true believer in gingham forever, but I was going to say furniture, has softened a lot. We've seen a lot of curves on furniture recently, and I think everybody has seen that. And I do think that it kind of is that play on that, where again we're seeing more sharper geometrics and patterns. I think because you're also seeing
juxtaposed against all those curves.
So it's almost like that kind of ping pong again of like people, if you've got this rounded sofa in a room, what else goes against it? Because if you do everything else round in the room,
It's overwhelming.
it doesn't sing. There's nothing. So in a way, I feel like that's why probably.
That makes sense. It's like there's something about them being opposed that's so interesting when they're together, I guess. I don't know. What about like animal prints?
Always.
I mean, I think so too. Like you can never really go wrong with an animal print.
Or is there like new animal prints that,
Well,
not like
yes,
a new
so-
animal, but like cheetah and antelope, I feel like have been common. But like
tiger has been pretty big. I think in the past 5 years, it's really developed. Schumacher has a very modernized tiger print that is just beautiful.
I do feel like tiger's been kind of on the for motifs as well. Like the tiger has had its.
do you think we'll ever see the zebra again?
I hope not.
We will.
Oh,
We
you
will.
like
It's just
that?
a matter of time.
It feels very Y2K to me, but
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Also
again, that's what I
millennials,
meant by
so-
like we will see it again.
yeah.
It will
everything's
not.
cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm definitely feeling tiger.
I had a really cool pair of hot pink zebra capri pants.
Oh, well.
They were
I bet at the time you.
so cool.
She thought she was...
That's just like what that Y2K zebra. Woo.
But don't worry, Hillary. Don't get rid of your zebra.
I mean, I have
I
a...
don't have any zebra actually.
you were just saying you love zebra.
Yeah, I just like zebras.
Well, I love
I think-
giraffe. So
They're like kin horses.
Also cheetah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I have a pair of green cheetah Vans that I haven't seen in 2 years because they got lost in my closet. But problems of having too many shoes. I think that seeing animal prints in a multitude of neutral or natural tones, I should say, is definitely in the market because we are equating that animal with a color that we see every day and putting them together.
yes.
Cool. Okay. What about like hand painted details on furniture? Like
Oh, I was just saying my Instagram is filled with people that do that.
I cannot condone it. I just can't.
It feels very like Rachel Ashwell, shabby chic vibes.
It really has to be done well. Otherwise,
I was gonna say
it just
Trump
looks
Loy style of. You have to, it has to be done well. Is the
like,
problem
really well.
Well, am I imagining this, or is that?
No. It's definitely out there.
I think it goes back to that whole mural, and again, like
it's going to over
it's a canvas.
personalization.
Yeah. Here's another place I can.
Oh, I can put my own hands on this and make it mine.
Yeah. So it's just another place you can personalize in a space.
But y'all don't love it.
No, Will doesn't love it.
Yeah, Will.
You missed that.
No, I don't, because not everyone is an artist.
See, I have
But here's the thing. I just have to say this. Any great thing done poorly is done poorly. So let's take all the poorly done examples out of the equation. Let's only be thinking about like the well done examples.
So being positive.
Because even like
You're right.
Your favorite thing, if it's done poorly, you're gonna hate it. So
Maybe.
I
No,
was just saying.
you're absolutely right. I think that it done well, it can be an interesting. I mean, Taryn has created several of our products that are beautiful hand paintings. I just think that it depends on what it is.
All right.
I just have an appreciation for the artists that do those. So I'm over here like, I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
Taryn.
The skill. Well, yeah, totally. But like the skill it takes. So like, and I think it is pretty cool to have a unique piece that, in general, I think the artist tries to learn about who they're creating it for, and so it's very personalized. So it's almost like, I hate to say like monogramming your furniture, but it's very specific to the
I do
owner.
love a monogram.
And so,
Oh,
so I
we
just
gotta
find
know.
that really
See, a
intriguing.
monogram done poorly is not.
Well, I wouldn't have it done poorly.
He's got it in curls font. It's happening.
Okay. Birds.
Well, our customer does love a bird.
Birds have been hot. What were we talking about? We were talking about bugs. We did read an article how mushrooms were out, and we were debating that ourselves. We were
And
like,
beetles apparently were going out, but I think that insects are cool. Something that's
we think
unique.
insects are still in. So I think birds eat insects, so maybe birds are still in.
Okay, my list of things is because I saw some images that I think were things that y'all had pulled, but I had zero context. So I was just going through it thinking like, oh, this is interesting, but like maybe some of these images were like, maybe it was like something with a bird, and I was like seeing a bird, but it was really like a color example. You know what I'm saying? Where like,
right.
I didn't know what
was about
the
the
image was
birds.
pulled for. So I was like, oh, maybe it's birds, but so
At market, there were plenty of things that were still like tree. Again, this whole like bringing
There's a lamp with birds on it.
Yes, like bringing the nature in, which we spoke to in our last turn, is still like this kind of people still are gravitating to this, and because of that, I think the birds are coming in with the trees inside. and the
Well, it's
flowers.
like a menagerie, you know?
So I think that's why we continue. But like everything, we've seen bunnies and
yeah.
geese, and so it's
Gooses.
It's playful, yeah.
yeah.
All right. Anything in terms of like upholstery? Actually, hold on. How are we on time?
About an hour.
Okay. So we probably should. Okay. Okay. Anything? Let's just talk generally. Like anything that surprised you, or that you were like, I don't know about this one. I don't know.
Don't look at me.
I know you're the one that's gonna.
I always have an answer for that.
Well, rumor has it that, and I don't know, we might have to cut this part, but I think we don't have to. French country
Oh.
is on its way back.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Live, laugh, love a French country.
French country was around when I started at Ballard.
Full circle.
So I now know.
Back in the 1800s.
So are you worried? Are you concerned?
Of course I am. It goes back to why he's like, I grew up with the green countertops. I can't go back kind of feeling. It is very much like, wait a second. Weren't we just in the French country? And then we just went to the farm.
And you're like,
Are we
wait, but that
ready
was
to go back
15
to the
years
French
ago.
country? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm waiting to see it. Definitely waiting to see that one happen. Now, what else were we talking? I felt like there was something else that we were like, no, it can't come back. Oh, that was low-rise jeans. Can't come back.
I was thinking more fashion issues.
I don't think anyone ever wants those to come back.
We've talked about the ivy.
Oh, gosh.
Coming back.
No.
And no, we've heard it. We don't want it. Or
No
we're-
one ever needs to see the ivy wallpaper in the back of your cabinets ever again.
It is. We're stay
gosh.
tuned. That one.
That's in the landfill.
Have
for
you
life.
seen the cover of the Ballard cover where the ivy was crawling
On
up
the
the
bed?
bed? Looked like it was about to
Yes.
suffocate someone.
Just wait.
It's like Attack of the Plants. You're going to die in your
Creepy.
sleep. Okay.
Well, we might feel that way again. See, we're going so bring nature inside to the point that we're like, push it back out, make the walls white and black. Get out of here, nature. We don't know. We don't know yet. But at the moment, we've talked about that with COVID, how like, having that outdoor space. And so I think we're all looking forward to that one. Sorry, that was a random tangent. So we like being outdoors now. It's just a matter of now we're trying to get the
But
mosquito.
we're bringing everything we had inside, outside. Lamps, sofas, cushions, you name it.
Yeah.
We want it outside now because we've been inside for so long.
It is interesting, though, because to your point, it's like you're outfitting your outdoor space with all of the comforts and sort of details, personalization of your indoor space. And then you're bringing like all of the, you're kind of like merging both. So they reflect each other, I guess, and bringing like all the color and the details from outside inside.
Yes. And we continue to blur those lines, right? Like bigger windows so that more light and more nature. And so I think that was part of COVID change. Like everybody, again, we were talking about that outdoor became a safer place to be. So like it became more of like, this is, an extension of your home. And then vice versa of everyone wanting the English garden. Like they don't just want to visit one. They want their home to feel like it. So
Definitely.
except for the English ivy. That part obviously is not coming back.
Let's
We're
hope.
kidding.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, okay, I think in the last year's episode, y'all talked a lot about sort of overall trends. There was like the English cottage look, the pink renaissance. Do you feel like those are all still relevant, or are there new kind of vibes that
I think that
you're latching onto?
the English manor, English country house, I think is what we called it, still very relevant. The indoor garden movement, still very relevant. I think the pink renaissance, we're definitely going to see that fuse off into a multitude of different colorways. And I think we're seeing that now with the peach.
Yeah, I think that one will probably change the most out of all of them. And the other one, again, just speaking of quote-unquote trends and like the silly ones out there, is that kind of coastal grandma, as we call it, that was like, grand millennial-esque. And like, how does that kind of tinker to become this like coastal grandma, which is this very relaxed coastal home? And I think, again, it's that, how do I get away?
Okay, wait. Someone was telling me recently that coastal grandma is turning into something grandpa. What was it? It was like frumpy grandpa. I was like, I don't know how to interpret
City
that.
grandpa, coastal grandma to city grandpa.
Mob wife.
Stay in your house. Don't get dressed.
Yes, mob wife. That is another one.
Mob wife, yes.
Mermaid core.
Yeah.
Plaza core. There's so many. It's
Yeah.
like these little trendy micro niches of design that just keep popping up because
They're so funny, guys. You do need to keep a pulse on those. You'll have some good laughs. And or you might be like, oh my God, that's me.
Frumpy grandpa.
just don't put your house underwater. Mermaid core doesn't need to go that far.
All right. Anything else that I missed that I didn't ask that I should have asked you about?
I mean, plenty, but
You can have us back. You know where we
Oh,
live.
yes, that's true.
I don't think so.
Yeah. We'll continue to tell you what we...
Yes.
Yeah, well, next year we'll let you know what else we seem to find in and out.
I feel like maybe just after your each like market trip or something. we're gonna
Gosh,
have a-
yes. We were walking around and I was like, guys, did you see anything we need to talk about?
Because
So
y'all
we
were just there yesterday. Yeah.
So
There's so much to see sometimes.
we've been really oversaturated and just really, I don't mean that negatively. We've just really been delving into like bottom of the barrel. So,
Well, okay. Did I catch you like
Barrel.
too soon after? Should you have had like a week to let it marinate and like, come to conclusions?
It is funny. There's lots of Christmas at the show, as our guest Megan was saying the other week, and it is
bubbles.
true how that is like, just you're like, oh, too soon.
Yeah.
Like we just got over Christmas, so like seeing like that, like so much, was like, woo, not yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bows are in.
Bows.
Bows.
those are in.
So are bows the new scallop?
I don't know. I don't have any input on that.
I feel like it's a similar person. If you like the scallop, you're probably going to like the
Oh,
bow.
absolutely.
Yeah, we have talked about bows on everything.
I do feel like the bow doesn't have as broad of an appeal, though, in some ways.
We'll
We'll see. It could be application.
You like a bow.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't really like a scallop.
Ooh.
Fighting words over here. I do love a wave. It's a little more gentle, I think.
I agree. It's like an easier
A
commitment.
gentle
Yeah.
curve.
Well, I think the scallop will become, and I'm sure it'll be like the chevron, right? You'd be like, I know when that was.
Or the quatrefoil.
Mm.
Or that, what's that little trellisy?
Like, if you can't remember, it's not
It went
that
like
bad.
this. Like
I don't know.
Okay.
skinny
yeah.
and two in. It was tile in like everyone's house for backsplash for a long time. And it was on everything. Bath mats and towels and crock pots.
Nothing takes me back like the chevron, I have to say. I feel like that was a really intense
Chevron.
time. Yeah.
Big necklaces.
Oh, yeah.
The, like,
yeah. Bubble necklace. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for chatting with me, sharing your opinions, reporting back from the, I don't know, front lines.
I would love to know what everyone else is thinking too, like what they're done with.
Yeah.
Because it is funny. We each live in different places and what we're seeing, and so it'd be fun to hear what others are.
And
out
everyone sort of
or in.
adopts the things at different times. So it's like your lifespan is just a little different.
Yeah.
I think, y'all obviously, and even here at Ballard, like we're early adopters. Like just because we get tired of things quickly because we see it so much, and then we're kind of on to the next thing. So, all right.
Great, thank you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks
Thank you for
having
having us.